one thing to be it's one thing to be here, it's another thing to be present, right? There are people who jump on a Zoom, log in, and they're doing everything else, but there is other kind of energy, other type of excitement when you are focused, when you are attentive, when you are 100% focused. So I'm asking you, if you are here, be present. If you are here, pay attention. If you are here, take notes. Now, for those of you who may be hearing or seeing me for the very first time, I know I'm not as attractive as the Queen Adora Evans, but I will tell you this. I had the privilege and the opportunity to work with her for the last couple of years since 2019. But a little bit about myself. I've been in the business community for just about a decade and a half. My background, believe it or not, I was born and raised in a third world country. It's no longer a third world country now, but I was born and raised in Morocco, Northwest Africa. And as much as many people would look at my past and, the amount of trauma and agony and frustration that it was from 5 until 15 years old, my past was terrible. So much so that I never went back, right? But it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. See, God has put me in the positions and in the circumstances and the challenges in my whole entire life, whether it was physical abuse, whether it was being molested by our nanny, whether it was being homeless for 3 years, all of those things were the best thing that's ever happened to me. And if you don't understand what I'm referring to, is it allowed me to overcome everything that I had to endure so I can be ready for you. Because sometimes we can talk about certain things, right? And people would say, well, you don't understand my circumstance. You don't understand my situation. You don't know where I'm coming from. Well, here's what I will tell you. Been there, done that, worn that t-shirt and sold it a million times over. And I thank God for all the adversity that I had to overcome because it made me the man that I am. It taught me empathy. It taught me humility. It taught me it does not matter how high you will make it. That same elevator that took you up one day will take you back down. So be nice to the people that you see along the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am fired up. Yes, I've been able to do a lot of fun things in the business community. I speak my sixth language right now that I am learning. I'm about 40% ready as far as verbal communication, but about 100% in written communication or reading communication. But today is not about me. Today is about a gentleman that is making a whole lot of noise in the business community. This gentleman not only is a radio and TV personality, he started his career in building mega brands, and he's built his brand as DJ Felix Sama. Now understand, before you go crazy and start going like, oh my God, I need an autograph, listen, 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 listen. He hosted major radio shows. He brought the classic hits to the masses. He transitioned his career onto TV, appearing in the music related program industries, and he has ran large entertainment companies. Now I'm pretty sure behind him you're going to see the plaques and the discs and the gold and the platinum. But what I loved about his story is, though he's done well in the music industry, he always grew and transitioned and dedicated himself and persevered and grew from the breakdancing culture, supporting youth programs, supporting competitors, leveraging the hip hop culture. By the way, I got to have a conversation with him on the side because I used to do hip hop. I sold a lot of songs out there, but I never made it to the big league. I even hid all of my music because that was my BC life. That was my before Christ life. That's when I thought I was a gangster, but I didn't have it like that. But ladies and gentlemen, he has produced some of the greats like Stevie B, like Matt Stuntman, and other legendary artists where he's taken the 80s hit music like Spring, Love, and Let the Music Play and remixing them with today's sound. So please do me a favor as I'm going to be diving deep into his story, into his greatness, into his legendary status, and blessing you and I with so much more of learning, knowledge, and wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time in our Visibility Challenge, and certainly not the last, the one and only Felix Sama, aka DJ Felix Sama. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Show some virtual love once and all right now. Let's go. What's going on, boss?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be on this platform with all you lovely people, especially the ladies. Ladies, I salute you. Thank you so much for letting me on the platform. Ali, Man, I've gone on your YouTube. I've seen some of your interviews. You are an OG, and I appreciate and I'm very grateful to be on this platform.
Now, I'm gonna be selfish. I'm gonna go back to the recording and I'm gonna just get that one piece and I'm gonna play that sucker over and over and over and repeat. I'm like, he said it. Let me just
It's true.
say,
It's
man,
true.
look, I am selfishly grateful to God that Adora's flight got changed today because I love what you've done in the music industry. I'm an 80s kid and I grew up in, this is how crazy it is, right? I grew up in Morocco. I grew up in a third world country in Africa, far away from the hip hop mecca, like the United States overall, not just New York or Miami or LA, the hubs, but just overall in anywhere in the world. When you think America, you think Hollywood, you think hip hop, you think pop music, and you kept it alive and done it well for decades. And all right, look, this is just between us, y'all. I used to go by African Ali when I did my music. I used to be the guy who would be on the city who would give you a CD in your hand. And once you grab it, I'm like, that's just $5. And you'll be like, wait, I'm like, you already got it in your hand. You're gonna love it. And I will sell, 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 sell. So
Yeah.
Mr. Felix, I would love for you if you can just do us all a favor because a lot of us see the glam, we see the noise, if you will, and the shiny objects, but we dismiss that you had to work hard, or we dismiss your upcoming and where it all began. So for those who may not know or are not educated, give us a little bit about where it all began.
Yeah.
What is the essence of Felix Sama? Where did he become this legend that we are? Give us that back in the day. Reminisce with us a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it was the music that captivated me, right? I used to go to like house parties and I would see the DJ and how much control he had over the room and being able to move everyone. And I was like, wow, this guy is this not only the center of attraction, but he's playing, this music that's making everybody want to dance and go crazy. I go, I like that. I think I want to do that. So that's when I started getting, my little cassette decks and my turntables. And I started experimenting with music. I found other DJs that were first starting off as well while I was in, I believe, high school. 10th grade was around the time that I got interest to be a DJ. And I'll be honest with you, man, I would just stay in my room and practice. I started off with a tape deck and a turntable, and I would pause the break parts, and then I would let them go, and we would record like that. And I just started getting better and better and better. Had a job. I would buy as much music as I could, go down to the local flea market, buy my 12 inches. This is back in the day, ladies, when vinyl was the thing, you know what I mean? So we would buy our vinyl records and we would literally just spend the whole day practicing, trying to make the right blends of what records go with what records. And then later on, after I, did all my free house parties, I started working for a mobile DJ entertainment company called F&F Disco. And that's when I learned how to do weddings. That's when I learned how to do bar mitzvahs. That's where I learned how to do corporate events. I never knew that side of the world. I was just doing house parties and jams and stuff like that. That's a whole nother world that I was introduced to. Um, and that taught me that perspective of DJing and how to turn it really into a business, and make money from it, and kind of go down that rabbit hole. Then I wanted to do more than that. I would hear DJs mixing on the radio, and I was like, that's really cool. I think I want to do that as well. So one of my friends was an intern at a local radio station, Hot 105, and I gave him one of my mixtapes, and I said, hey, can you give this to the head DJ to see if he likes it? And lo and behold, they loved the mix that I did. They were like, yo, that's incredible. How you put that together. Would you want to come and do a guest spot? And that guest spot turned into a permanent spot. So I started being a regular on-air mixer on Hot 105 locally. This was back in 1985. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I was gonna say, first and foremost, you've done a few things today. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm watching you. You had a few people looking down, and I'm sure they're googling, cassette tapes, and they're googling the 12 tracks. Like,
Yeah.
I got you, right? Like we all experienced it. But 1985, that's when I was born. That's like a big deal. Like that's a point of connection. So let's dive into when you're talking about, first of all, even in the mid 80s, like the hip hop culture is still just kind of making a little bit of a breakthrough. It might
Yeah,
even be frowned upon. Heck, even culturally speaking in the United States and looking at, a lot of documentaries, it was kind of like, hey, shut that stuff down. That it was a cultural battle. How did
yeah.
you find your way in a place where enjoying what you're doing and doing it at a professional level, regardless to the adversity or a lack of support that the music and the culture has had at the time?
Well, there was no lack of support. I'll be honest with you. I was playing hip hop, house music because I was born in Cuba, came to Chicago till about 12 years old, and then we moved to Miami. So
Mhm.
that was kind of like my upbringing as far as where, my residencies were. And when I got to Miami, hip hop was very popular. Freestyle music was very popular and dance music was very popular.
Yeah.
So those were the genres that were my expertise. That's what I would practice with, and that's what the radio stations were playing. They were playing a combination of hip hop, dance, and freestyle. So I never experience any resistance when it came to playing music. We would go and be booked at a club, and that's what we would play. We would do transitions from hip hop to even bass music, which is Miami bass music, freestyle, and house music was kind of like the elements that we were playing at the local nightclubs. It was all popular, but yeah, the Run DMCs, the LL Cool J's, the Salt and Peppers, those were like at the top of the food chain when it came to the selection of music that you would play along with the dance music. But yeah, I didn't experience any kind of
No,
resistance.
I'm grateful to hear that. Talk
Yeah.
to us about how do you transition from having a slot in a radio station to now making what was there a moment or was there a decision? Was there just you already knowing like, hey, this is bigger than just playing music, where you decided I gotta go in the entertainment business instead of just fulfilling a role? Talk to us about when did that happen?
Well, before I talk to you about that, I got to tell you how I made the transition from
Yeah.
being an on-air mixer to an on-air personality.
Yeah, yeah, please.
There's a big difference because then that led me into being a TV host for Telemundo. So from on-air mixing, there was another on-air personality by the name of Bo Griffin, rest in peace. She was an incredible on-air personality down here in South Florida, and she's the one that came to me and she goes, "Baby, you got a beautiful voice. You should try to do some on-air air checks and give it to the program director to see if you can get a slot because I think you got the goods to make it happen." And I was like, "Bo, are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, just let your personality fly, smile, be your authentic self." And it was hard for me because I was a little bit of a hard rock back then. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to like be that guy that was tough and just like DJing and rocking the spot. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start practicing. So I went home and I would record myself talking. I would read the newspaper. I would read the current news, and I would just hear myself, talking it back and that's how I started to hone in on trying to find my voice. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, I turned in an air check. An air check is like a sample of what you would sound like doing a radio show. So I turned in the air check, and they were like, "Okay, we're going to give you a shot." So I went from working overnights, 12 to 6 a.m., to the regular nights, which was 10 to 2 a.m., and then the early nights, which was 6 to 10 p.m. And as I was getting those number one ratings, I would move up, and up until I got to the morning show. And I ended up being the producer and one of the on air personalities for the morning show. And that's what gave me the confidence to build, my DJ entertainment company. And then there was an opportunity to go into Telemundo and start doing TV shows because I worked at the second Telemundo channel, which was called Moon Dos. And the reason why they called
I'm
it
familiar.
Moon Dos because it was the second channel and you were able to speak bilingual on that channel. So you can go from speaking Spanish to English. And my Spanish wasn't perfect. So it was a perfect home for me to work on Mundos. I had three shows with them. One was called Upbeat, the other one was called The Roof. And then I did a couple of hosting jobs at Jams. So that was when I was like, wow, sky's the limit. Let's just keep going and pushing the envelope.
Yeah, I love that. And by the way, I related much more to Mundo. So I married up, thank God. I married up to my wife is Colombian, right?
Okay.
She and her brother owned a bar and a restaurant in Elizabeth, New Jersey, 20 years ago. And you know how it is in Spanish. There's the MTV, and there's the Telemundo, and then depending on what time of the day. But then when Mundos came about, that was the station for me because I was just learning my Spanish at the time, and the
Yeah.
English was like perfect. I'm like, and reggaeton was taking off, and so it was
Yes.
definitely great, great. I was that audience, so I totally
We
appreciate.
actually introduced the big reggaetoneros to the world because before that, Daddy Yankee never got really shine on US TV.
Yeah.
Nick Jam, Tego Calderon, Evie Queen, all the bigger artists back then. I'm talking 2003.
Oh, I
Back
remember.
we would give them the platform to perform and
Yeah.
we would play their music videos. And
Yeah.
that's how they started getting introduced to the US market. And then I worked at the first reggaeton radio station ever in Miami back in 2006, and it was called Mega 949. And we had a morning show called the Mega Flow Morning Show, and we were programming reggaeton music, which was never done on any American radio
Yeah.
station.
Yeah. And I think after that, I remember because I saw part of this stories. So I remember after that, Hot 97 from New York started copying the formula, and DJ
Yeah.
Enough would start playing reggaeton where no one even understood what was going on, and then it started picking up. So, I appreciate what you've done for the culture and definitely putting a stamp on and just the music industry overall. I'm gonna do a little flip in here. We talked about the background of the business side and how we got to where it's gotten. You have a heart for nonprofit as well, and you've done a lot of work on that aspect. Tell us a little bit about that side of you, because a lot of time people just get caught up on the shine and the benefit that the singular individual gets, but we never kind of tend to give back or, kind of create opportunities for others. Talk to us a little bit about your nonprofit work as well.
Yeah, so the nonprofit that I'm president of is called USA Break-In, and we give breakdancing a platform to shine. The reason why I became president is because one of my childhood buddies, his name is Speedy Legs, famous breakdancer down here in South Florida. He approached me. I think this was back in maybe 2000. 18 around that time, and he was like, hey, we're working with this organization, and I have a convention that I do every year, and I would like for you to be involved. And I was a b-boy from back in the day, so I grew up break dancing and spinning and all that, but I chose the DJ route. It was a little safer and I didn't want to get banged up too much. So yeah, that was my forte. But I've always had a passion for breakdancing. I always thought that it was great for the kids. It gave the kids something athletic to do, get them out of playing, PlayStation games and all that stuff, get them out, doing something positive and healthy for themselves. So I started doing these conventions where we would have these 2-day conventions where producers, DJs, and breakdancers would come and they would compete, and it was a safe environment for them to get down every year. And then the USA break-in opportunity came into play where they were wanting me to be the president. And I said, yeah, I would love to be the president of USA Breaking. And basically what we have done for the last couple of years is we've gathered, whatever grants and donations that we can, and we've held competitions throughout the United States, New York, Atlanta, LA, Miami, and we hold competitions for these kids to be able to compete, breakdancing and do their thing. Sometimes we'll have DJ competitions, but it gives these kids an opportunity to express themselves on a breakdancing platform. And as you know, breakdancing finally made it into the Olympics last year, into the Paris Olympics. So that was a
Well,
big,
I gotta ask.
yeah.
It's great that it did, but it took a lot of, like the Australian breakdancer kind of shook the narrative a little bit. How was your
Yeah.
feeling on that? Were you like, man, what have you done? Or were you still, because I think the decision was that they will not bring it back in LA as of right now. What was your take on that?
Yeah. Well, let's just say the NG, be the breakdancing committee that the Olympic committee that put that together should have had better screens in place
Yeah.
to make sure that the qualifying breakers from their respective countries were really, supposed to have all the skills to be there, because breakdancing is an art form and it's a sport at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
And if you see a lot of these professional breakers, if you watch the Red Bull competitions and the Monster Energy competitions, they're doing things that are unbelievable that we couldn't even fathom back in the 80s and the 90s. So I think that you should have a certain skill set when you're on an Olympic platform. That's my personal opinion, not taking anything away from her. She was doing her thing, and that's what she thought she needed to bring to the table. But I think there was good and bad that came with
Yeah.
that at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Yeah.
Well, we're hoping that we can make enough noise alongside you in here, and the Diva Network will assist, so we can bring it back in LA. Olympics come in the United States. But yeah, how can we, while we're talking about a nonprofit organization, is there any website or anything that you can plug for us right now? I mean, obviously the
Yeah, if you
episodes
don't
are
mind, if
produced.
I can I play a
Yeah,
little clip so the
please,
ladies
please,
can
yeah.
see a little bit of what we did at one of
Check
our
it out, y'all.
year-end competitions. Let's see here. Optimize video share. Should do that with this one. Okay, cool. You can see my screen. It's a little
Yeah,
busy.
no,
My
it's
desk.
supposed to be blurry because you're optimizing the video. You good?
Yeah. All right, let's play you this USA break-in year-end video. There you go.
USA Break-In's 2023 season was an incredible ride with qualifier winners repping their city in Rhode Island. B-Boy Providence took the cash and crown. B-Boy Eagle won it in the 305. B-Boy Kobe got his winning ticket on Battle Wire. B-Boy Swazi was New York's finest, and B-Boy Casal reigned supreme in San Antonio, Texas. And when the dust settled, B-Boy Swazi was crowned USA Break-In's 2023 National Champion. We're coming back in 2024 with more competition and cash prizes. If you want us in your city, get at us at usabreakin.org or download the Battle Wire app. Brought to you by the #1 Latino dating app, G-Spot, and USA Break-In.
Well, that was 2023, the year end, and then this is one of the competitions that we did. We did this one at the Boys and Girls Club of Miami, and this happened November 1st. This past November 1st from 3 to 6 p.m. It was a great showing out. All the kids came out. They had an incredible time, and we just love doing these competitions because, okay, now let me exit this. We get a chance to hang out with the community and the kids, and instill how important it is to exercise and breakdance, whether they want to breakdance or they just want to learn more about the hip hop culture, the 5 elements of hip hop: breaking, graffiti, DJing, MCing, and knowledge. That's what we're there for. We love going to the communities. We love going to the art schools. We actually are now working on trying to put together a public school program where we can go into the public schools and do these clinics and sessions with breakdancing and turntablism.
Oh, that's amazing. And I look, I'll speak for myself here, selfishly speaking. I love when I hear about initiatives like these because, look, I was born and raised, as I've mentioned, and in a third world country. I was homeless, and I understand struggle. I understand lack of opportunities. I understand not having somebody giving you a platform, and to create an art form in a space like you said through breakdancing, which first and foremost is such a positive distraction from whatever you may have in life, right? Like you could have the worst circumstance at home and you just being in the right environment, good music, good people, everybody happy and looking for something good. But then to turn it into an opportunity for, being in the right place with the right people. Because look, if I didn't have opportunities in my household and I'm in a perfect environment, it's automatically networking with the right crowd, right? It's automatically putting yourself with potential mentorship and individuals. And I can say this on behalf of the Diva Network, DJ Felix, let us know. We want to help you out, blow this initiative, tell the world about it. So obviously, we'll make sure that the replay has all the websites, all the social media assets, everything that you
Thank
need
you.
us to
Thank you
do.
very
Yeah.
much.
Oh,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Yeah,
Look,
thank
divas,
you.
can we all agree we love the love, right? We love that positive energy. And in the Diva Network, that's exactly what we do. We support the super women by giving them the right platform, the right connections, the right assets and resources, and the men who support them too. I ain't forget about you, brothers. I know you're here too. All right, let's go. If we could, you're launching a self-empowerment platform, and where you have the music side of things, where you have the storytelling of overcoming adversity and different elements. I would love because one of the things that I believe, and I tell every single person in any company that I speak for, adversity is the biggest deposit in your bank account. So what does it mean to overcome adversity in your eyes, or how do you deal with it? What is your message to that one person who's watching and is like, man, DJ Felix has no idea what I'm going through? Like, what is your message to that person of embracing that adversity, or how do you deal with it in your own words?
You know, for me, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm still overcoming adversity, with different challenges that I have in my life. I don't think that it ever truly stops. I think that we all need to keep learning and creating better versions of ourselves as much as possible. But the way I approach overcoming adversity is by bringing positive messages into my mind and then practicing those positive messages. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, from Anthony Robbins to Proctor, even the guy Poppy that was on
Yeah.
your Zoom call. I went and got his audiobook. I've listened to it like 3 times already. I love that guy. He's incredible. So him, Andrew Cap, there's another one that has a law of attraction audiobook that's amazing. So, I take a little bit away from, all these lessons and I instill it into, how that would work for me. The positive messages that I give myself every day and just really trying to automate my life so that I create the workflow that is going to make me successful. And obviously, as we all know, it's who you surround yourself with. Even being on this platform today, I'm winning. Being on this platform and talking to you ladies and talking to you, Ali. And that's why I want to bring in the music partners that I feel comfortable and positive energy from. Stevie B, Mad Stuntman, the young lady that I'm going to bring in on Thursday, because the way I look at it and the way I would like to present my positivity to a self-empowerment platform is through music, right? Because I do a lot of positive music. I take a lot of 80s songs like Let the Music Play, Spring Love, I like to move it by Mad Stuntman, and I create a version that would exist in today's world in 2025. And I can play a couple of clips so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. But I think that bringing these icons of music into the self-improvement platform will shed a lot of light to people that are looking for different ways of overcoming adversity and how we infuse that through music by uplifting you through positive chants, positive chorus, positive hook lines. So there's a lot to be said about that. And let me tell you, man, ever since I started to really plan out my days a little better, construct and organize myself, look at my goals and be realistic about where I want to be day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. My life has totally changed. Do I still have a long road ahead of me? I sure do, but I'm having fun doing it. I'll be honest with you.
It's the concept of enjoying the journey as you were heading there.
Yeah,
You've mentioned a couple of times that you've kind of worked on creating this new system or the daily method of operation, right? Like organizing yourself.
yeah.
Did you have a mentor, or was it something that you kind of figured out on your own? Like, because a lot of us in here, we hear like, you got to have some mentors in your life, whether directly or indirectly. It could be an audio book, or it could be somebody who's actually working with you. What was your process of creating the upgraded version and what is now in a journey for greatness, DJ Felix?
Yeah, I think one of the podcasts that really made me start thinking about, hey, you're kind of doing this the wrong way, bro. You better get it together because you're not a spring chicken anymore. So one of the guys that really had me thinking and focusing on the now, well, the power of the now is definitely a good audiobook. I
Yeah.
like listening to that a lot. But Rob Dyrdek. Rob
Mm,
Dyrdek is a
from the
famous
amazingness and
skateboarder
ridiculousness
from,
show. Yeah.
yeah, the ridiculousness show. And he's got these podcasts and he really made me think about how much time I got left on this earth. He's like, dude, you know what I'm saying? You've already lived about 70% of your life. You got 30% left. What are you going to do with those 30%? Are you going to make it count? Or are you just going to live day by day, doing whatever you think is right? No, you've got to strategically figure out how every day you can maximize happiness and greatness, right? So he's the one that really made me want to systematically start chronologically charting my days, being accountable for everything that I did every hour for the most part. I'm not like a stickler, where it's, super meticulous and whatnot, but I do have my goals, my weekly goals, my monthly goals, and my yearly goals. So I think that's where it started. And then all the audiobooks that I listen to throughout the day and throughout the week, that the Rob Proctor, I still listen to Rob's podcast show. Andrew Cap is another one that's got the last law of attraction book you'll ever want to listen to or something like that. He's got a 90-day course that I bought that really gives you a good way of strategically putting together your day plans and how to manifest greatness within yourself. So I've done that about twice already, and it's really helped me a lot. Create the positivity, and I also get therapy for things that have happened to me in the past that I needed to
Pause.
overcome.
Pause. And ladies, so when you
Yeah,
hear pause, that means this is a moment right here. So first and foremost, I commend you for saying everything that you've shared with us, and I'll tell you why. So I had a lot to deal with, bro. I mean, when, and when you talk about, a man, when you become a parent and whatnot, and then you start thinking, I'm like, man, I was physically and sexually abused, and I was homeless, and you're like, man, I'm tough. I got this, right? But therapy has absolutely taught me a different side of me. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay,
yeah,
like you are no longer the victim. You are a victor, and it was because of therapy. And I appreciate you for so many ways. First and foremost, just for saying out loud, a grown man coming from your background, being a hero for the masses and in the culture, right? Like if I was hanging out around you, I know myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm with him. Like I'm with the cool DJ, right? But to humanize therapy and to give a voice to many of us who think something is wrong with me, and you're like, look, I had to deal with a lot of things that I had to overcome and went about it the professional way. I commend you for that. I also commend you for letting us know that, hey, you may see the plaques and you may see the bio, but I'm just like everybody else. I'm on a journey myself. I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm making mistakes along the way. And I appreciate when I hear, look, I'm not a stickler. I'm not a perfectionist. Like I'm figuring out like you every single day. So
yeah,
that means
yeah.
the world. And I'm pretty
You
sure
know,
that
one of the most traumatic things that happened to me, as a young adult was I had two daughters pass away, right?
Mm,
And I've always bottled that up. They were, short story. My girlfriend at the time, she had complications in her seventh or eighth month, and when we went to the doctor, they said, "Listen, you have twins, and they're joined together." And then if we don't do an emergency surgery, they're never going to make it. So they did the emergency surgery, and the girls came out, and for whatever reason, they let me into the hospital room, and I saw them in front of me. They were joined, and they were like, they're not going to live much longer. So spend whatever time you can. And I watched them die in front of me, and it was the most. I almost committed suicide after that. I'll be honest with you. And it was just devastating for me. But I got myself together from that, but I bottled it away. I'm saying I put it in a compartment, and I've never spoke about it until last year. And then last year I started getting therapy for me, and it was just like a breath of fresh air, just to talk about it and just to let it out because it's been bottled up inside me for so long. And it's given me a new leaf. I'll be honest with you, to memorialize them and appreciate that they were in my life for the time that they were, and to try to do everything I can to just always hold them up, and appreciate the love that I still have for them.
Well, I appreciate you opening up and sharing that with us. My grandma used to always say, may his soul rest in peace. When I'm gone, just understand I'm not gone. You just don't see me anymore. You don't
Yeah,
touch me. You don't feel me anymore. But I'm
yeah.
watching you, so you better make me proud because I'll slap you while you don't even see me. So
That's
let's
right.
keep him
That's right.
alive. Let's keep the legacy
That's
going because
right.
it's right
That's
around you
right.
right now, brother.
My baby girls, Sarah and Juliet, I love them. I love them to death. And I have a beautiful daughter. She's 11 years old. Emily, she's my pride and joy. And, every time I see her, I see Sarah and Juliet right next to her.
Yeah, that's amazing. You've mentioned, manifesting and the law of attraction. And, look, since I believe 2003, since all of us have seen The Secret, no, 2006, when we saw The Secret, it's like everybody fell in love with the concept. But I think all of us, for the most part, at first we go about it the McDonald's way, right? Like, okay, I'm thinking positive. Is there good? Is there good? No, it's not, right? Like, what is your process into identifying where you are and then manifesting what you want and with patience, because that's probably the hard part for all of us, is to be patient. And I teach my 7.5-year-old, whatever you want you can get, but just understand the bigger to ask, the longer it's going to take, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
if you want just pancakes, that's an easy one. You're gonna get it probably within an hour. But if you want a boat, it may take a long time to get. So talk to us about your process on that law of attraction on your
Yeah.
own.
There's a couple, exactly. You just hit it right there. Law of attraction, right? So there's a couple of things. One thing that really works for me, it may not work for every single person, but one thing that really works for me is I make a list, right? I make a list of the things, and I always put it in a present tense, right? So I'll make a list of things that I want, things that I have, and things that have been given to me a long time ago. So I mix them up, and those are the things that I'm not asking for that I already have. So I'm saying I'm so grateful for the brand new house. Thank you so much, universe. This has been an amazing, struggle, but now I've captured this. This is one of the goals that I've been wanting to accomplish. So I always put it in the present tense, like I already have it, and that mentally helps me attain it. So I do that. And then the other thing that you have to do is, it's real simple. You got to work for it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You can't just sit there, and think that it's going to happen automatically. You can manifest things the way you want, but you got to be willing to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, like a lot of people ask me, how did you become like such this popular DJ? There's so many DJs in the world. What made you stand out and be at the top of the food chain? And those were all the hours of practicing that I did in my bedroom. Those are all the premeditated work that I put in before I even get on stage, to perform at. Like, for instance, this past Friday, I do a once a month called Freestyle Friday at a place called Cafe 27. And we started off with 400 people. Now we're nearly 800 people deep into that party. That doesn't happen because it's my name. It happens because they keep coming back and they tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends. And now it's become a culture and a cult to come out there and experience this amazing time. But it's the energy that
Mhm.
they feel when they get there. You know what I mean? Because you can play raw bass and salt and pepper and down with OPP. Anybody can play those songs, but it's the way you introduce it to the crowd. It's what comes out of your voice. It's the whole interaction. It's all the energy, the vibe, the positivity. You have to combine all of that to create this unwilling energy that people want to be a part of. And that's what I bring to my parties. And that's the energy that I bring and that I command whenever I do an event. I need to give everyone my entire energy, and I think people reciprocate that.
I love that. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, I I connect with everything that you say. The word emotion simply means energy in motion. When I hear you say you're transferring that energy, you're giving your very, very best. Steph Curry said, "You're celebrating me for the 3,000 plus 3-point shooters that I've made. You don't see the 10,000 that I shoot every year, in practice,
Yeah.
like which is factual." And I appreciate you for that. Hey, by the way, who here would like to get some Q&As going, huh? Who would like to ask some question? All right, before we do, because I want to hear. You had earlier mentioned that you had some music that you wanted to kind of play
Oh
a few.
yeah, real quick.
Yeah, give
Yeah.
us a little taste because I want that energy myself. I want to be dancing for the rest of the day far after it is recorded. So here you
Well,
go, check it out, and we'll do some Q&A.
Celia Cruz is the
Oof,
queen of salsa,
of course.
and I wanted to pay homage and to her legacy. So I remixed Kimbara, which was one of her more popular hits. I remixed that, and I asked the Mad Stuntman to do a feature on the track as well, and I wanted to play it for you ladies, and Ali. So this is what I put together. I produce my music videos as well. You kind of got to be a do-it-all in this business.
Yes.
So here it is. This is my rendition of Kimbara that I produced.
Hey mama, hey mama. Hey, hey mama, hey mama. Hey mama, hey mama. Hey, hey mama, hey mama. Kimbara, kimbara, kumba, kimbamba. 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 It's a celebration. Pongo, dile que ya voy. Colombia. Que me espere un momentico. Chile. Mientras canto un guaguanco. Dile que no es un desprecio. Argentina. Pues vive en mi corazón. Santo Domingo. Mi vida es tan solo eso. Rumba buena y guaguanco ya.
Dios los bendiga y recen mucho por mí. Siempre. Gracias. Gracias en nombre de Dios.
you go. There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call an exclusive. This is literally an actual exclusive that we've got. Like, if you don't brag about this today, I don't know what to tell you, man. That was amazing, incredible. Don't worry, this will be on the Diva Experience podcast. So all the links for every channel for DJ Sama from Spotify or Apple or IR, we're gonna have it all over for each and every one of you. We're gonna be playing this a lot as long as you give us permission to
Thank
play
you.
it.
By the way, I just need to mention, because there was some other characters in there. The lady that was singing Kimbara is actually Xiomara La Negra. She's the one that sang the Kimbara of rendition of Celia Cruz. She used to sing Celia off Broadway. And then the guy that you saw playing the percussions alongside me, that's Tito Puente Jr., Tito Puente's son, who was a very good friend of mine. And
You
those are the
talk
reasons.
about keeping the legends alive.
Yeah.
Talk about keeping the legends alive. Yeah, see, you got a lot of fans. You got us all dancing in here. We're like, yeah, we're calling the
That's
rest
what it's
of the
all
day off.
about. You got to shake it up and have a good time. Energy. Yeah.
That's right. All right, y'all got permission to take the rest of the day off and rock to some DJ Sama. All right, let's do this. We're gonna open up for some Q&A. I'm gonna switch the setting in here. Everybody has the ability to unmute. You know the deal, ladies. Please raise your hand first, and then you can ask your question. So let's start with Abigail Price. Talk to us, sis.
Oh my gosh. Since you started opening your mouth, I've been moving in my chair. I'm like 73 and I don't do breakdancing, but you reminded me of Willie Colon, Ray Barretto, Joe Cuba, and Tito Puente, because I was in the club, baby. I
That's
was in the
it.
club. Oh my gosh. And so I'm sitting here and I'm moving and I'm remembering because it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I so love what you're doing with the kids because they need a way to focus their energy and focus of their attention and all of the other stuff that's coming. They need a release. And
Yes.
this is so amazing. And I love what you're doing. And I want to talk to you about the foundation part and how we can help you. I
Yeah.
got children, grandchildren. How can we help you?
Yeah, Abigail, I remember you. We were on the call before, right? Yes, yes. So
Yeah,
I would love to continue the conversation with you because I know you have a passion to help the children and you've done some of that nonprofit work already. So yes, let's team up. Let's do a think tank and let's figure out how we can connect the dots. God
awesome.
bless.
Thank you.
No, thank
You
you.
too, sweetie.
Right on. Hey,
No.
easy. She just hit him with the sweetie. I saw what you did there. You just hit him with the sweetie. All right. Marita, let's go. What you got? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Is that a platinum record that you have behind you?
Actually, all my plaques are on the wall. I don't behind here. These are just like 12 inches, and things that that I like old school album covers and things of that nature. But being the fact that I've been part of the journey for a lot of these artists and record labels, I've got plaques from I know P Diddy's got a bad name now, but I've got plaques from P Diddy, Little Kim, Slim Shady, Janet Jackson, Death Row Records, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, they're all. Yeah, I'll bring one so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, this is one of the plaques right here. I got this one from Slim Shady's
Very
camp,
cool.
and there's a bunch of other ones. But yeah, those are just appreciation plaques. But it's more about the movement and the music for us.
Wow. Well, I wish you were here in Nashville. I would come dance.
We might be able to get something going on, maybe an old school party. Let me know if you got some promoters out there that are interested.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're very inspirational.
Thank you.
Marita, you already know we're going to be traveling the world together with the Diva Network. So yeah, we're going to be all over the map. All right, let's go to Fabulous Camille. What's going on, sis?
I apologize, I'm driving, but one of the things that was very attractive to me, Felix, is when you said, I have to give back. A lot of artists, when they get famous, they forget that what God did to get you there, you need to help others to get there. And you have shown that for the sacrifice that you have done. Now, with all that said, what is one of the hardest thing that you have ever had to do when you started your career?
One of the hardest things that I had to do when I started the career, not nonprofit, the music career.
Yeah, the music and your nonprofit.
Yeah. One of the hardest things I had to do with my music career is, and I'm still doing it, I'll be honest with you, is make the transition from radio, DJ, announcer, TV host to music producer. Because in the beginning, I went to Full Sail Recording for the Arts back in 1990, and I always had the mindset of becoming a Latino Quincy Jones, you know, and a big time music producer. But when I got back to Miami, I had so much success in radio that I ended up rolling with that. But now, fast forward, and I retired from radio, I'm focusing a lot of my energy in producing music, like you just heard, and working with Stevie B and the Mad Stuntman. And it's not easy because music doesn't pay the way it used to. For streaming, you get like 0.01 cent on each stream, so you're not making a lot of money. You've got to try to get your music on movies and TV shows and things of that nature. That's where the big cheese is at if you're going to be producing music. So it's a little bit of a hurdle, but I'm gonna overcome that and find ways to make myself successful in that. Now with the nonprofit, as I don't know if you worked at a nonprofit or you are part of a nonprofit.
I own one.
Okay,
I
you
own
own
one.
one. You already know what the biggest struggle is getting them dollars in to make sense. So we've been blessed. We've had a couple of donors that have donated from year to year. We've had a couple of sponsors. Like we had a big hair product line donate $80,000 to us last year. They're called Jamaican Mango and Lime. They're out of Chicago. I don't know if you ever heard from them. I heard about them before. But yeah, they wanted to get into the breakdancing space and help out the kids. So I'm always constantly looking for sponsors, donors, and we try to write as many grants as we can every year so that we can have our activations throughout the year. That is the biggest struggle, is getting dollars to be able to operate.
Yeah, that is true, because a lot of people, they say they will, and they never do, because they think that, oh, you got it under control. And that's one of the problems I see happening, but I'm not going to let that stop me. I've been funding my nonprofit for over 22 years.
Yeah.
Out of my pocket.
Me too.
I work, my husband work, and we take the money that we have earned and we feed others.
Yeah.
We're trying to, what you just said about music, I have a lot of children here in Orlando. We live in Orlando, Florida. We have a lot of children here and they don't have an outlet. And we need to have something for them to participate. Now, how would we get your nonprofit here to join with our nonprofit so we could spread the music? Because music is life. People don't understand that. Music produces life. When your brain cells hear the music, it sends everything to your heart. Your heart pumps and it sends all the nutrient it needs to your vein. Nobody knows this. How do we do that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's all about putting a game plan together. So we need to sit down and connect the dots on how we can make that happen, see who we can get on board to help us, you know, with the transition of going from me to you, for you to me. You gotta tell me later on a little bit more about your nonprofit so we can see where the connections, where the synergy can come into play. And then I'll tap into my resources. I'm sure you will as well. And then we'll figure out how we can best work together. But we need to just strategize. We need to get the game plan down. And you're right, they're taking away, you know, a lot of art programs from these schools, and these kids need an outlet. In a perfect world, I would have a building, and I'm working on that, having a building where these kids can come, they can learn the art of breaking, they can learn the art of DJing, producing, how to become social media influencers, just the whole gamut of what these kids are into, but in a positive light, to make sure we always give them a safe environment to learn from.
Love it.
Thank
Y'all
you
are
for your
seeing
time.
the
I appreciate it.
you're
Thank
God
seeing
you.
the
bless you.
Diva
Thank you.
Network
Thank you.
experience live and collect. Awesome, awesome. Let's do one last one. I think we have time for one last one. Johnny Lloyd, talk to us.
Hi, thank you, first of all. And it's really, hopefully and prayerfully, it's a value add. My question to you is, are you familiar or do you utilize Google Ad Grants?
No, I do not. I've
Okay.
heard of it before, but I don't utilize it. Yeah.
Okay. So, and the reason, well, there's several reasons. I have a nonprofit and businesses and all this stuff, but the real value add for Google Ad Grants is that if you go through the process and get approved, you can get up to $10,000 a month in Google Ads to help expand your donation base, increase your, your how you get everything out. But more than anything, there is a process and a procedure. There are requirements, all that good stuff, right? But check it out, and
Okay.
that may open up a whole nother arena for all nonprofits. Everybody who's on here, if you have a nonprofit that is a 501c3 approved, go through their process and then see if you can get it. I've gotten it the first time. Don't be like me. The first time I didn't use it because of, I thought we could do it and we couldn't. But this time we're doing it in a different way and we're going to utilize that grant. So just something to think about.
That's great. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, because we need every bit of help we can get in order to elevate the nonprofit and spread the word and get these kids engaged. Thank you. Very
DJ
grateful.
Summer, I got one last question for you, and this is for me, selfishly speaking. And after we're done, you can say scratch that off the recording. I don't want to see it anywhere else. Top 5, because you've worked with some amazing names, right?
Yeah.
Top 5 rappers of all time in no specific order in your vantage point. Give me the top 5. Your top 5. All
Top
time.
5 top 5 rappers of all time is what you're saying?
Yep, in your book. In no
Yeah,
particular
I mean,
order.
I think if it's just rappers, it would be the usual suspects, which is, and maybe not all, but yeah, definitely Jay-Z, Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, those 3. And I'm gonna say a name only because he was one of the first Latin hip hop artists to really appeal to the masses, and that's Mellow Man Ace. So I would put Mellow Man Ace up there because he did it for the culture. He came out with one of the first not one the first, but one of the first bilingual songs called Mentirosa back in the day. And then the last one, rappers. So you got Jay-Z. Blah, blah, blah. There's so many, man. There's so many. You're making it hard here. The last one, I would have to say, is Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It is a hard list because,
Yeah.
so you didn't put M, and again, I can remove this. You didn't put Eminem on the top. I'm curious.
Yeah, no. I appreciate what Eminem does, and I love him, and I think he's an articulate, amazing rapper, but just not my style.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you even, because most try to dodge that question, but for a cultural icon like yourself, I appreciate, to give Mel Mayonnaise, like you're talking about the ella está muy bonita pero mentirosa, right?
Mentirosa, yeah, that was his
exactly. I know what you're talking about. Okay, well, look. As we're coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen, I want that chat to be lit up with positive energy, with good vibes, with gratitude for the man that made the legend, a philanthropist, a musician icon, a producer, an entertainment mogul, and now collaborating and helping us out here in the DIVA Network. I cannot wait for this episode to be blasted everywhere. Just so you know, it will be on Spotify, it will be on audible.com, it will be on iHeartRadio, it will be on Amazon Music, it will be on Apple Music. We're going to blast this everywhere. And of course, it'll be available for replay for our Diva community as well. So please make sure that you are kind to one another. Take the information that you've seen. We have more visibility days that are coming ahead of us. We have affiliate program that we do. For those of you who are founding members, you already know we got this podcast that we have for you. So if you'd like me to interview you like we just did right now, make sure that you are a founding member. Get back to the person who invited you, even if you are not part of the Diva Network yet, and say thank you for blessing me with this session, because DJ Sama absolutely 100% empowered me, inspired me, and I know he has for you too. Until next time, have a blessed day, everybody.